Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be discussing the top 10 best roles of Hugh Grant. Now, why a video on Hugh Grant, you may be asking? Well, you know how everybody has at least one secret guilty pleasure? Mine happens to be Hugh Grant movies. I simply cannot get enough of him. Even nowadays, with Grant entering his 60s, he manages to retain that floppy-haired, boyish charm that has made audiences love him so much. Fun additional fact, his full name is Hugh John Mungo Grant. That's right, he has two middle names, one of which is Mungo. Mungo. Anyway, off we go. Our number 10 spot is a short comedy skit written by Stephen Moffat, one of the main writer-producers responsible for both Doctor Who's revival in 2005, as well as the BBC Cumberbatch series Sherlock, so in other words, godlike creative genius. Clocking in at a little over 20 minutes, the sketch was a humorous riff on Doctor Who, primarily starring Rowan Atkinson, you'll probably know him from Mr. Bean, and Jonathan Pryce, as the Doctor and his arch-nemesis, the Master, respectively. Part of the comedic hijinks included the Doctor being killed, then, of course, regenerating in a new form, as he does. This allowed them to have a succession of cameos by BBC superstars, including Jim Broadbent, Richard E. Grant, and, of course, Hugh Grant.
Result.
Oh dear, now look at that. I've gone and used up 3 whole bodies in just under a minute, and all because I forgot to unplug first. That really was terribly silly of me.
The end. Look after the universe for me. I've put a lot of work into it.
The funniest bit is when the final reincarnation occurs and the Doctor changes into a tall, big-breasted lady played by Joanna Lumley of British super series Absolutely Fabulous fame. She and the Master decide to put aside their time-spanning battle and go off and bone instead. Most of the primary cast of this movie had to play multiple wildly different roles. This was a somewhat divisive movie. Some love it, some think it was long, drawn-out torture. But everyone can agree that it gave the cast a chance to really stretch their acting skills. They were able to show off their range in a way that other movies simply don't allow. Grant's roles include a creepy reverend, a hotel security guard, a nefarious corporate CEO, an elderly man, and a futuristic diner owner. But his most shockingly out-of-type role is as the Kona Chief. Grant is virtually unrecognizable as a tatted-up, apocalyptic barbarian warlord. Music and lyrics. It's generally dismissed as a generic rom-com, using the same old tired Hollywood formula of pairing two it actors of the moment together. It may look that way on the surface, but I think that assumption couldn't be more off base. Grant plays the less famous half of Pop, an 80s British pop group that's essentially a fictionalized version of Wham. You know, Wham with George Michael and that other guy? Yeah, well, Hugh, he's the other guy. So Grant, playing aging has-been Alex Fletcher, finds himself having an unexpected resurgence of his career. While embarking on this journey, he meets and, of course, eventually falls in love with Drew Barrymore. Now, want undeniable proof of the comedic genius of this movie? Just watch what's happening when the end credits roll. If you remember VH1's pop-up video show from, I believe, the 90s, they play a popular music video and have comment bubbles pop up throughout, telling interesting and funny facts. The end credits give the same treatment to Pop's number 1 hit, Pop Goes My Heart. It's hilarious. For Grant, this 1996 drama thriller co-starring Gene Hackman was a big departure from his normal roles. Hugh did a bang-up job managing to play a serious protagonist caught up in perilous intrigue without losing the floppy-haired charm that makes everybody love him. I recall this as being the second Hugh Grant movie that I ever saw. The first one was Sirens, because, you know, Elle Macpherson, Portia de Rossi playing nude figure models.
You're quite a creepy person, aren't you?
In Sirens, Hugh was kind of a weak, uptight, cuckold type character. So then came Extreme Measures. I thought I knew who Grant was and what he was all about as an actor. Mostly I watched it because it was a Gene Hackman thriller. It didn't take too long into the movie, though, before I found myself really doing a 180 on my opinion of Hugh Grant. Damn you, Hugh Grant. Stop being so likable. When you think of a classic Hugh Grant movie, you think of this one. The 1994 movie became an unexpected success and the highest grossing British film in history at the time, and it propelled Hugh Grant to international stardom, particularly in the United States. Despite having a large ensemble cast, Grant, playing Charles, manages to completely stand out from the group, and he manages to bag Andie MacDowell along the way. So yeah, this 2001 movie was a total chick flick. Both the movie itself and Renee Zellweger got a ton of award nominations. The important thing about this particular role for Hugh Grant aficionados is it marked him taking another big step outside of his acting comfort zone, playing the charming, lovable goof. Besides, in this movie, Colin Firth already had that market cornered. Instead, Grant was cast as the dangerous, scoundrelly bad boy. Bridget Jones, played by Zellweger, spent the whole movie trying to figure out which one of the two she'd end up with. I think we all know who she really should have chosen. This 1999 movie has Hugh Grant at his Hugh Grantiest. Awkward, self-effacing, British, absolutely perfect casting for his role as an unsuccessful Notting Hill bookstore owner that bumbles into an unlikely relationship with Julia Roberts. Julia's character is named something else, Anna Scott, I think, but she's basically playing Julia Roberts, which works out really good for the movie.
Hi, guys.
Oh, holy fuck.
Hon, this is Anna. Anna, this is, honey, she's my baby sister.
Spoiler. Love triumphs. They actually end up together. Cute doofus everyman William Thacker does end up making it work with the globe-hopping, paparazzi-dodging A-list superstar goddess. And you know what? He actually makes us believe it could happen, because it's Hugh freaking Grant. I know I said earlier at the beginning of this video that his middle name was Mungo, but I'm changing it to fricking Hugh freaking Grant. Writer-director Guy Ritchie really came out of the gate hard at the beginning. His British crime action comedies were downright awesome. 1998's Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, as well as 2000's Snatch, catapulted him into the Hollywood scene. Much to his eventual detriment, I would argue. There was this really weird period where he was married to Madonna, making really bad movies, sometimes starring Madonna. Eventually, they divorced, and Ritchie got some of his mojo back, eventually coming out with more big-budget Hollywood films that ranged from perfectly adequate all the way up to awesomely fantastic, depending on which one you watch. In 2019's The Gentleman, Ritchie goes back to the well that spawned his original success, that being the British gangster dramedy. The movie, it got mixed reviews. I personally enjoyed the heck out of it. Most critics, no matter their overall opinion of the movie, pretty much all seem to think that Hugh Grant's playing Fletcher was a standout performance. He plays a seedy private eye with a Cockney accent cranked up to 11. He's the story's narrator, and eventually he is revealed to be the driving force behind a lot of the shenanigans that occur in the movie.
Not digital, not on a memory stick.
A lot of reviewers categorize this 2002 movie as a romantic comedy. This is so not the case. It seemingly starts out in that direction, with Grant's Will Freeman character scheming his way into the panties of a series of unsuspecting women. He is the most bachelor of bachelors, and he stumbles onto the tactic of pretending like he's a father so as to score hot single moms, even going so far as to put a baby seat into the back of his car and sprinkle a bunch of, Cheetos and toys and stuff back there. The plot, eventually though, it pivots. It turns into more of a father-son dynamic when Grant finds an awkward, friendless teenage boy attaching himself to his perfectly arranged single guy life. Will Freeman's story arc is akin to when the Grinch's heart grew to 3 times its previous shriveled size, and really that's what makes this movie such a gem. It has so much heart, just about as much as any movie I've ever seen. Bolstering the story, you have great performances by an unrecognizably young and chubby Nicholas Hoult and Toni Collette playing his batshit crazy mother. About a Boy is an absolute 10 out of 10. Many film experts agree that Citizen Kane is the greatest movie of all time. I say clearly they have not seen Love Actually. How could anyone watch Hugh Grant as the British Prime Minister dancing around 10 Downing Street to the Pointer Sisters and not fall in love, actually, with this movie? Amongst many other important questions, Love Actually answers what it would look like if the leader of a modern industrial country was sexy, single, and looking to mingle. Love Actually is the greatest Christmas movie ever, outside of Die Hard, of course. But Love Actually does come in a close second. Having a massive ensemble cast and covering a whole slew of separate concurrent storylines, all fans have their favorite stories. Hugh Grant's love story is usually considered one of the best. The UK's widowed prime minister starts dating a regular nobody of a girl in kind of a reverse Notting Hill scenario. And that does it for our list today. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. Let us know how you liked it in the comments section, and also don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel as we bring you more thoughtful and intriguing content in the future.